Would anyone have circled Raptors Wizards as an early Eastern Conference test before the season began? Would anyone have pegged Khem Birch as the Toronto Raptors fulcrum? Or Fred VanVleet as the player who would carry the Raptors offense? No, on the first two and the last? How about a maybe? But the East is a lot more interesting than it has been in years past, and the thoroughly renovated Washington Wizards and the ahead of projections Raptors are indicative. And Birch, turns out he might be the big man the Raptors didn't know they needed so badly. More on him in a minute, but his role in the Raptors' gutty 109-100 win versus the Wizards was essential. Even more essential was VanVleet's season-high 33 and all the other typically heads-up play that went along with it. As for the East, there were 11 teams in the conference at .500 or better before game time, including the Wizards and Raptors, both firmly in the playoff mix. "We haven't seen everybody yet," said Raptors head coach Nick Nurse. But yeah, the answer to your question is the East good? Yes. Is it deep? Yes. The Raptors are deep too. Toronto showed it again as they found a way to extend their winning streak to 5 games, their longest in 2 seasons, and even their season series against the improved Wizards. Toronto jumped Washington in the Eastern Conference standings as they are now 6-3 and a franchise-best 4-0 in their first 4 road starts, while the Wizards fell to 5-3. But no one could have seen the Raptors winning 5 straight at this stage. Not after starting 1-3, not after their miserable tumble down the standings in Tampa last season. However long this Raptors roll lasts and wherever it comes to rest, the moment must be enjoyed. "I am not taking it for granted," said VanVleet. "Did you watch us last year? Yeah, I am not taking none of this for granted." OG Anunoby added 21 for Toronto while making 3 steals, while Gary Trent and SBI Mikhailuk each had 15. But Birch's play is the latest example of how the Raptors are getting help from unexpected sources as they try to keep their head above water until leading scorer Pascal Siakam returns from his shoulder surgery and rookie sensation Scotty Barnes gets back from a sprained thumb. Birch lost his chance to start when he contracted COVID before training camp. But as Precious Achiuwa has continued to struggle offensively, and in nearly every facet of the game, honestly, it's been Birch who has bailed them out. Once again, the stat line was modest, 9 points, 5 rebounds and 2 assists, but he was +10 in 22 minutes after being +20 against the New York Knicks on Monday. Still, the player of the game was VanVleet, who shot 13 of 22 from the floor and 3 of 6 from deep, none more vital than the defensive rebound and one-man fast break he led that put the Toronto up 8 with 2:28 to play after the Raptors had been scoreless for more than 2 minutes as the Wizards were surging back. But Birch was key too. Toronto saw their 16-point second-half lead trimmed to 8 when Birch was subbed back in with 8:17 to play. Fred VanVleet found Birch on a couple of short rolls in the paint for quick buckets, and a moment later Birch took past out of the roll and found Anunoby for wide-open triple, and the lead was quickly back to 15. The Raptors were able to hang on from there. "He's smart, he knows how to play," said VanVleet of Birch. "He's very unselfish, he screens, we just have a good chemistry. He knows where to be when I need him, he's got great touch at the short roll where I found him late. They went to some blitzes and were trapping me, and I was able to find him and he found his tough there a couple of times, and he can pass from the short roll too." Based on the first meeting between these two teams, how the Raptors fit in the East's new hierarchy wasn't clear, unless it was a club looking for a soft landing in the lottery again. The Wizards spoiled the Raptors' homecoming as Toronto shot just 29% from the floor, one of the worst offensive performances in franchise history. But Wednesday night you might have thought the Raptors were preseason favorites to run the table in the East, certainly in the early going. The Wizards are better than the team that finished 4 games below .500 last season because they traded Russell Westbrook to the Los Angeles Lakers for 3 quality rotation pieces in Kyle Kuzma, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Montrezl Harrell. The Raptors aren't improved over last season, they're improved over last week. Van Vliet has been a huge part of that. Nurse is hesitant to take him off the floor. He played 43 minutes against the Wizards and leads the NBA in minutes played with 38. But for good reason. Early in the season, if we didn't have transition, our half-court offense needed some work, said Nurse. We put in considerable work, but it always helps when you've got a guy like Fred that can kinda control the tempo. He's making some good play calls, he's obviously scoring, but he's finding some people, too. He found some short rolls to Kem, he found some slot cutters, he found a kick-out 3 here and there. I think he kinda did a good job of calling OG's number here and there when Og thought he could get something. He did a good job executing stuff out of timeouts. He was really good tonight. He was at his best in fourth quarter as he scored or assisted on 10 of the Raptors' last 15 points in the guts of the game. Before that the Raptors looked like they were going to make quick work of the Wizards in the first half, and Van Vliet was a big part of that too. Toronto turned the Wizards over 6 times in the second quarter while coughing it up just twice themselves, and they had a 5-3 edge on the offensive glass. The result was 26 shots to just 17 by Washington, and at one point during the quarter Toronto was up 14 points. As has been the case during their run of strong play, it's been a committee approach. Mikhailuk has stepped in and been excellent. It was his triple in transition that put the Raptors up by 14 with 3:05 to play in the half, but he was making things happen well before that with his smart cuts, his patience with the ball and some active defense. He had 7 points in the quarter. Anunoby shook off a slow start to put up 9 in the period, fueled by a pair of steals, while Van Vliet put up 9 of his own. A layup by Van Vliet followed by a steal by Delano Banton on the inbounds pass leading to a wide-open Van Vliet triple. Banton was already walking back to half with his arms raised before Van Vliet got the ball in the air. He knew the Raptors took a 59-48 lead into the half and were up 16 early in the third, but the critical moment came when Birch picked up his fourth. It shouldn't be that big a deal, Birch is hardly Anthony Davis. It's just that Achua has struggled so badly. His lone highlight of late was a massive third-quarter dunk, but it was one of the few looks in the paint he's been able to finish lately. Sure enough, with Birch out the Wizards cut the Raptors' lead over the next 4 minutes. But Van Vliet was up to the task. He answered the Wizards' run with a triple and added another jumper as the Raptors started the fourth quarter up 86-77. Van Vliet had 25 at that point. He had enough left to get the Raptors home, albeit with help from Birch and others. The season isn't 10 games old yet, but the Raptors look like they belong in a tough Eastern Conference. Van Vliet approves. "You definitely don't win championships in October and November," he said. "But it's not a bad place to be playing good and growing as young team early."